Welcome back to Ta-da 3D printing. Okay, we are on to chapter 4 of the Prusa XL enclosure build. This is the Nextruder upgrade for the multi-tool, of course, because we have the 5 tool heads for this machine. It says it's difficulty moderate and 24 steps. First step, we need tools, the Allen keys, and universal wrench. Not very exciting. Step 2, Nextruder cable bundle releasing. If you have an original Prusa XL or an original Prusa XL upgrade dispatched on or after June 1st, 2024, you do not need to upgrade the multi-tool Nextruder, and you can completely skip this section, skip this chapter. That's not the case for me. I have probably one of the oldest of the 5 tool heads, so I'm not even going to look up when I got it because I know it doesn't apply to me. On the first Nextruder, it says from the front side of the Nextruder, using a T10 screwdriver, loosen a few turns are enough 2 of the M3 by 8R screws and take off the cable support. So that's that kind of plasticky piece. So what we're looking for is these 2 screws here to take off the plastic support. We're not going to remove the screws completely. We're just going to unscrew them a little bit so that we can pop this off. And I've already looked ahead, and basically we go through and do all of the steps for one tool head, and then it says do them again for all of them. I'm going to go through all the steps for one, mainly just for time, because you don't need to see me redoing the same thing over and over again. But I probably, if I was just doing this by myself, I would just do them all at the same time. What I'll probably do is one all the way through, slowly recorded, and then when I go back through, I'll do all 4 at the same time, because it's going to drive me nuts to do the cable all the way through, then it's going to be annoying. So I'm just going to do a single tool head, all the slow steps. Locate the Festu fitting, push the blue collet down, and remove the tube from the second Nextruder. I don't know why it's saying from the second Nextruder, because it's showing a picture of the first. I think that's an error. Okay, so we're looking right here. We just need to remove this tube out of the tool head. And they're just saying push the blue while you're pulling at the same time. We just want this loose. And later in the year, well, September 2024 is now, you may receive a new black fitting, so the color may be different. Locate the Nextruder cable, press the secure pin, and unplug the cable from the Nextruder. Leave the cable hanging. Okay, so it's just got the little secure pin. Push in with your thumb, and it'll slip out. So all this whole thing is removed. Step 3, Nextruder undocking. Gently undock the Nextruder and put it aside. So this is just completely loose now. Step 4, idler swivel releasing. Open the cover by swiveling the cover 90 degrees. Release the screws and remove the idler swivel from the Nextruder. Leave the screws in the heatsink. Okay, so we're gonna have to open this guy, which I believe I need to loosen this a little bit. And then we want to unscrew these screws enough that this pops off. We don't want to remove them completely. Okay, so we wanted to remove that out. Set that here. These are still in the Nextruder. Step 5, PG case releasing. If we have 4 screws, looks like I have 3 screws, right? Yep, on this. So I need to be on step 6. Unscrew and remove 2 M3x25 screws. Do not throw them away. And it looks like it's the 2 towards the blue collet. This side. Why it's flipped like this, but it's kind of how the picture is. These 2. So completely remove these and then loosen the last screw, but don't remove it. Okay. See if it'll let me. Well, my screws I wasn't supposed to remove from the top wanted to pop out, but these ones here don't want to come out. Was I supposed to be using the... I don't know if that's any better. Come on. Maybe I need to loosen that last screw a little bit more. Open the cover by turning it slightly to the side. All right, we need to have it this way, facing this way. Oh, just the very top, just the black. I'm going to go like this. Ooh, I have a lot of grease. Step 7, idler releasing. Using the 1.5 Allen key, remove the grub screw. Do not throw it away. Remove the idler from the Nextruder. Step 8, idler disassembly. Now we're going to take this apart. Release and remove the M3x6 screw. Let's see which way they have it facing. This way. We're going to completely remove this. Do not throw it away. Get quite a few pieces of hardware here. All right, and then remove the tubular spacer from the idler. Also, do not throw it away. I'm assuming I'll probably just push that out, yeah. Gently grab it. Remove the bearing from the idler. It's not connected with the pin. Do not throw them away. Okay, so we're basically just taking all of the hardware pieces out, all the metal pieces, and we're gonna get rid of the plastic because plastic is not heavy duty enough. And these we will throw away. So let's get them out of the way. Now we need to find the new one. So step 9 is prepare the new idler, lever, lever A and B. This is pretty much like the only bag that's left. And there's 5. Of course, A and B. And they probably look almost the exact same as what we had, just a little different sheen to them. Those are all the same. Yeah. Because of course you want to have mirror images of each other. Cool. And if you get confused, the new ones are matte and the old ones are glossier and have almost a texture, like they used a textured bed, and then this one they used like a satin sheet. So we're looking for the matte flat if you happen to get them mixed up. Now we need the bearings that we removed, the screw we removed, pins, like everything else that we removed, of course. So we're just gonna put all that, all the guts into this. Step 10, starting with the pins and the bearings. And I don't think it really matters. Oh, come on. Okay, pins first. Bearings, again, I don't think it matters which side faces up. Okay, don't lose the other pieces in the process. Close this together. Just squish those pins in. Okay. And then we'll have a screw. Let's see. Looks like it's facing this way. We'll put the tube in here. And then the screw here. Okay. And it doesn't look to me like I got the tube in all the way. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be flush. In the past, I always tried to center it, and that was not correct. Cool. Now we're going to step 11, idler swivel disassembly. This part's done. Now we're going to work on this part. Release and remove the M3 and N nut. Do not throw away. Remove the screw. So we're looking for the side towards the other piece. So we're trying to do this. Remove that. It's like you're almost there, and then not quite. Okay, remove the nut, remove the screw, and then step 12, we're at idler swivel disassembly. Of course, we're going to take apart the other thing so we can basically, again, we're just trying to reuse the hardware. We don't want the plastic anymore. Lose everything. I'm pretty sure they're the same screws and nuts. All right, and again, all of the plastic pieces we're going to get rid of and not mix up. And we're going to get all new of the same thing out of the bag. So the swivels are the exact same. You don't have to worry about getting mirror images like on the last step. Pushing, we'll start with the top. Put the screw from the outside through, put spacer on, and of course put the second piece on. And then the nut outside. Okay, so I tightened it by my hand, and then of course I'm going to tighten it just a little bit more. But, oh, I think it shows using, it says to use the universal wrench, which I'm not doing. I am tightening it, not too much. It says it still needs to be able to rotate freely. Okay, yeah, the spacer can still rotate freely and nothing else. Great. Step 15, assembling the idler nut. Insert the idler nut into the idler swivel. So they have it with screw head on this side, nut on that side, and then the flat facing down, of course. Down and okay, we'll set that in place just a little bit. And then of course we do the same thing where the screws go from the same side. So screw head from the left all the way through all the parts. Hand tighten. And then it does say to secure it, but don't over tighten it, don't break anything. So that can still move, but it is snug. Looks good. Idler attaching for 4 screws. That's not me, so I'm going to go to step 17, idler attaching 3 screws. Step 17, idler attaching 3 screws. Insert the assembled idler to its place. So we have it kind of facing, turned a little bit like this. So we've got it kind of turned. We're gonna put this guy back in, but I want to make sure that I have this facing the correct way. Okay, so we've got it like this, placed here in this little notch. And we're gonna put this back. And this is, I believe, it's not universal. I almost thought it was, but it does have a sharper end on one side. So sharper end down. And I need to make sure, get that thing all the way in. Okay. And I think it was this. Do not over tighten. Okay, yeah, the screw does protrude above a little bit, but you're gonna need to be able to put the cover back on. Oh, there we go. Wondered why that was. Okay. So I tightened it until it felt pretty good. Then we're gonna put the cover, slide the cover back in place, insert the screws back, and tighten everything again. Yeah, I can still move. Now we're on to step 18. Fit the assembled idler swivel with 2 M3x30 screws. So we've got, let's see, it's correct from the picture. Put the screws back in place from this side because mine did decide to completely jump out. And it looks like we're gonna go flat side towards the screws. And these are threaded, so they're not just gonna slip on. Probably this one, either one. Stop tightening as soon as the screw tips reach the front face of the idler nut. So what we're trying to do is get the screws to go all the way through this plastic piece and just barely be visible on the other side. That's the plan. Okay, so you can see, you're starting to see these, and I'm trying to just make them flush and also even with each other. They look pretty good. We can always adjust it a little more later if we need to. And it says close the cover. Now we are moving on to the fan. Step 19, fan shroud removing. The next step applies only if your Nextruder has a PETG fan shroud. If not, please proceed to the Nextruder docking. I feel like everybody should probably have a fan shroud unless you had issues with them, which I did actually have an issue with one of them, but I've kept them on. Remove the 2 screws. Let's see. This side. Remove the 2 screws and don't throw away. Okay, obviously we're going to get rid of that plastic piece, but keep the screws. And now we need to find the other one. Step 21, attach it, secure it, blah, blah, blah. Let's move on. Okay, step 21. I do find it interesting that we're replacing this piece, but not this piece. I mean, I guess there's a lot of pieces we're not replacing if you look at it, but that must be the closest. I don't know. I'm just gonna do what I'm told. Now we can put it back on the machine. Okay, and then of course, make sure before you put this back that you do snap this little thing down. And at first I was a little bit nervous. Come on and focus here. I was a little nervous because I couldn't seem to get it to snap. It is, you know, fresh plastic and all that. You may have to force it a little bit. Okay, now set it back in place. And then we can put all of the other things back. Now we just need to hook everything back up again. Put the cable back in. It says to make sure nothing's twisted, of course. Plug this back in. Put the tube back in. And make sure that you push this as much as you possibly can, because if you have just a little bit of a gap, I have had things snag there. And then of course here we need to put that little plastic support back. Pull it snug and tighten the screws. And it looks like the others now. I think the cable looks good. So the first Nextruder has been upgraded with those parts. I kind of went through step 23 pretty quick, but that's everything. And it is pretty obvious just looking at them which one's been upgraded, if that happens to be a problem that you've upgraded some and have to pause and come back. I mean, it's a very obvious color difference. Let me see if I can look at it from a different angle. Okay, yeah, you can see even just them sitting on the machine. The first one is obviously matte compared to shiny. This and this is what we upgraded. Of course, the fan's a little harder to see, but the fan shroud, but it's pretty obvious which Nextruder you've upgraded. So now it's time to move on to the other ones and do the exact same thing again. The first time that I ran through all of these steps with a single tool head, it took me about a half an hour. And then when I ran through all the steps again with the 4 tool heads, it took me about an hour. I don't think that it was a lot more efficient because I was doing it again. I think it was just a lot more efficient to do all of the steps on all of the tool heads at the same time. So I'm really curious to know which route you guys went. Did you do steps 1 through 24 5 times, or did you do all the 5 tool heads at the same time? Okay, so all 5 tool heads have been upgraded. We are ready to move on to the next chapter. I think they turned out pretty good. Thanks for watching.